Welcome to the Brewtiful Game. As always, I am Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And Ron.
What's happening?
And after I guess a straight up month sabbatical.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't a sabbatical. We were all very busy.
I refer to it as our international break.
It was our international break. Yeah. Because we did some fun stuff in the meantime. Speaking of, we got to see the men's national team play here in Orlando.
That we did.
You know, because we've had some games here with the Orlando City Soccer Club to watch. Yeah, I guess it has been our international break. I guess we get those every now and then. We need them too.
Yeah, everybody needs a little break, you know? But just because we had a break doesn't mean we didn't drink beer, watch soccer, have fun, spend time with friends and family.
We did do a lot of that.
We did it all.
And our last couple pods were like 8 years long.
So, yeah, we had some teams to preview, some breweries to cover, so like it was, you know, they're going to be a little bit longer than normal.
Yeah. I would just like to say that my little, now she's 16-month-old, is now
so big.
Down for the Sesame Street. So I really questioned soccer this weekend because I thought, am I going to be watching this on the iPad? Because if I have the TV on, she's probably going to want Sesame Street. But instead, she comes out of her room and everybody was cheering an awesome tackle. And she's like, yay, and clapping along with all the clapping on TV.
Nice.
Totally just chilled out with me and
that's awesome.
Watch soccer. It made me very happy. And every time the crowd cheers, she cheers.
Perfect.
But I was teaching her colors. Like we were watching Cardiff
blue?
Chelsea. And I was like, if it's blue, you go, ooh. You know? So like we were doing
was that Sesame Street or was that
that was Soccer Street. That's what that was. And she was like, I mean, it's hard to tell because she doesn't really talk yet, but she was just offended by Chelsea robbing poor Cardiff. But we'll get to that later. Look at that.
We're just
Cardiff.
We're just channeling our inner Manchester United.
That's right. Everybody offsides.
Yeah, we usually have one offsides. You had almost the entire team offsides.
Yeah, Tottenham usually has Harry Kane offsides. I don't know what you guys are talking about. So wait a minute. So then what else do we have? Was there any other big stuff like that happened in between? I mean, not like individual news. I know we're going to get to that. But like,
at the wheel.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff to talk about.
There's a lot of stuff.
I know.
What's his name gets blown out as his first match in the under-23s.
Oh, yeah.
Jason Christ just got his. That's right. He just got hired and
lost the first match.
Yeah. Who'd they play? I forget who they play. Spain? No.
I don't know, but you can't. I don't blame him. He just took the team over. But former Orlando City Soccer Club.
But it's still got to suck.
Manager. Yeah. He stepped into the under 23 U.S. men's national team, but he also didn't have players like Pulisic and everything else that were in there. Mm-hmm. So for those of you who are just joining us, who are like, I didn't know you want to break because I just discovered your show. So here you are. We're going to talk soccer. But first, we're going to introduce you to some beers. And we have a rare break for Ron from his worldly beers.
A rare break.
Because Ferris has got the beers.
I do. I have one and possibly two if we get through the one.
Somehow, I think, knowing that there's a second.
And we do have a lot of content, but we don't have to do the second. We don't have to because this might be enough. So the other night, me and the girlfriend went to a couple of breweries in town. One that Blake and I have been to, one that Ron, I don't believe, has been to yet.
Ooh.
And then one that I've been to now a few times. I don't know if either of you have. And Blake, I know you've been wanting to try something from this brewery. Can you guess at what that brewery might be?
We've had some good local breweries, so I'm going to...
Are they local?
They're very local.
Yes, they are.
I'm going to go Tactical Brewing.
No, but a friend of the pod, Phil, and I did watch the UCF men's basketball game a few weeks back at Tactical. Very cool place.
Yeah.
Very awesome brews. I tried to actually get a growler from them, but they're not doing growler fills yet. But they are a part of the Central Florida Ale Trail.
So it's not. So what about Ellipsis Brewing?
Ding, ding, ding.
That was my. I was going to think.
I was going to say the.
So by the way, next time you're planning your Central Florida trip to go to the theme parks, what have you, there are so many breweries now. We've got a new one we now go to downtown Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
That just opened, Orange County Brewing, which has been fantastic for some of the matches. So if you're a beer fan, come down, do the parks, whatever. But man, the Central Florida Ale Trail, you'll take you a while to get
something cool about the Ale Trail is that they had to do a reprint of all the maps and add like 7 or 8 breweries.
The map's only like was a year and a half, 2 years old or something like that.
I just finished. I've taken my sweet ass time, but I just finished the first run of that map. They did, and on that map there was like 7 or 8 up and coming breweries. Well, all 7 or 8 of those are now on the new map.
Yeah.
So there's so many good breweries, and I've already been to like probably just about all of them. But you know what you guys get for completing the Central Florida Ale Trail?
You get a growler.
You do, and you get $1 off a fill at that. So what I have is from Ellipsis Brewing. They filled up my lovely Central Florida Ale Trail growler.
That's awesome.
And now I want you guys to guess the style in here. So now Ellipsis is known for a lot of IPAs, right?
I got you. I'm ready to make this guess.
We just recently had this style for the first time on the pod.
It's a juice bomb.
I don't know what that means.
It's a New England IPA?
It is not. It is not.
Oh, because they are very well known for that.
And they do have, do they have a New England? I believe they do have a New England.
They do. They make a great one.
Yep.
We just recently had it on the pod.
Just recently had it on. But it's in the last like 5 or 6 episodes, I think.
Are you saying that was a new style to the pod in general?
Correct. And it was one that I think actually we weren't planning to have on the pod.
Well, we just had our first sour.
It was not no. I would not do that to Ron.
Gross.
that would have been harsh. An entire growler full of sour just to piss him off.
So we got 3 growlers. This is yours, Ron.
Right.
We're all going to try ours and give notes. It's one I brought in, isn't it?
Yes.
Because I remember that saying that there's this is a beer style that we have yet to have.
You actually almost said the name of it.
Oh, when I said a New England IPA?
No. You just said Brut.
Oh, was it?
It's a Brut IPA.
Oh, Brut. Oh, wow. This is insane. So we had never had a Brut IPA.
Correct.
We tried it at the Castle Church Brewery. Yep. And they're like, that's a cool style, really dry. Yep. And then 2 weeks later, Sierra Nevada puts out their Brut IPA, which I keep buying every time I see in the store. And now we're going to have a third.
Correct. So this is called Brut Zero from Ellipsis Brewing.
They're cutting edge.
6.5 ABV. It is currently on tap in their brewery. And so they don't have a lot on their site in terms of...
It's our first growler for the show, too.
It is our first growler for the show, yeah. But I do like, they have a counter going. So it's at ellipsisbrewing.com, and they have a counter going that... Sorry, I'm breaking the seal of the growler that they sealed it up with. An ongoing counter of gallons brewed, combined years brew experience, square foot workspace, and growlers filled, which is kind of cool. And the growler idea for this beer was actually the idea from Nicole, my girlfriend. She was like, I was like, I might go out to the car and get my $1 off growler that I can fill something up. And I'm like, man, what should I get? And then I was like, that Brut IPA was good. She's like, well, why don't you get it and do it on the pod? And I was like, dagnabbit, you're right.
Because at this point, I've now had this new style that I'd never had before, frequent enough that I'm excited to try this because I will be able to tell the difference very quickly.
So on their site real quick, again, it's ellipsisbrewing.com. They go, we are homebrewers who took our passion to the next level. We started with a 5-gallon brew kit, then moved to the 10-gallon system that we brewed on until we upgraded to our current setup. Right now, our brewery is comprised of a 10-barrel brew house, 5 10 BBL fermentation tanks, and 1 10 BBL bright tank. The brewery and tap room are about 7,500 square feet, and when you walk into our building, you are met with high ceilings and a welcoming staff. Walk down the hallway towards the back, and you will come to a double glass door through which you can see the brew house. We named our company Ellipsis Brewing because we like what ellipsis means. An ellipsis is to leave something out, but to continue on.
Nice.
I've never heard ellipsis definition like that before.
Yeah. That's pretty slick.
Cool site. They have an updated tap list. It was updated as of today, 4:47 p.m., April 1st. Or is it really updated?
It's true. It is our April Fool's Day special. And by special, I mean we forgot it was April Fool's. So
we're going to get off these mics, go have some beer, and see you guys later. No, but let me see here. Okay.
Oh, my God. Why?
Ooh, why? Just get a little scent of that.
You are a moron. We're all morons. Why? You have this in a growler?
Yeah.
Man, if I were you, and thank goodness that I'm not.
Drink it straight from the growler?
No, I would have poured Moo Thunder in that thing and not told you guys.
No,
that'd have been the April 1st.
Dirty pool.
No, because I wouldn't do that to my own self. I've done that before.
Yeah, it would have been worth it.
But hold on.
Let's smell
this thing. Get you a
thing.
smell of that before I pour it.
Ooh, smells delicious. Ooh, it's very citrusy. I smell a little more citrus.
It is very good.
So the Brut IPA style is they're dry. It's like a brut champagne. It's where the term comes from. If you didn't listen to our one of our last pods that we did a brut IPA.
Yeah, and
how well is he pouring from that growler? The first pour is always hard.
No, he's doing good.
So heavy.
He's doing good. I was looking up the stats of this, and I learned something for all you chemistry nerds. You guys know what the 0 degrees Plato is?
I don't. I know they always list that, but I don't.
So that listing is specific to the viscosity of the beer. 0 degrees is the consistency of water. 100 is like complete sucrose or like corn syrup.
Right.
And so your beer, like this one, is a 0 degree Plato because it's got the consistency of water. And the more viscous it gets, the more degrees you add to it.
Well, this thing looks like the other ones we had. It's the golden. It's a little more. I'd say the other two IPA brews we had were paler than this. So this is a little more golden color than that pale sort of yellow. But it looks just like the other two. It's got a champagne-ish vibe looking at it.
It does.
It smells awesome.
And actually, the guy that poured it, I don't remember what his name was, but he's there every time that I've been there. And I walked up and I said, "Can I have the Brut IPA in the ground?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, man, that's actually my beer. It's the best, and I'm actually going to take 2 64-ounce growlers of this to the game." And I was like, "The game? Like, are you going to go tomorrow?" So he was tailgating with 2 64 growlers of Brut IPA at the Orlando City and DC United match.
Well, I guess technically we did have. Our last time we had a Brut IPA, I did bring a growler in, but it was those weird Capri Sun growler bag.
Oh, right, but that was no. That one wasn't the
no, it wasn't
IPA.
a Brut. No, I just mean we hadn't had a growler before.
Correct.
All right.
And then Castle Church was the other one that we went to that night, and I had that same one, the Doppel or the
Einbach or whatever. The one that Luther.
Yes, correct.
The
recipe so good. All right.
So this is Ellipsis Brewing's Brut IPA.
Correct.
It smells so good.
Man, it's got a great smell. Little citrus with a little bit of caramel note.
What an interesting finish.
That's good. I don't think it's as dry as the other two IPA Bruts we've had.
No.
But it's good.
It's really good. It seems to taper off pretty quick after your initial.
It's a lot of hop, but it goes away very fast. It doesn't linger,
and it's a very
But
it's not crisp, but it's very clean.
Well, and I said, did you do a New England IPA because they're very known for that style, and I'd love to get his opinion. I would classify this on flavor a Brut New England IPA because New England IPAs are more citrusy. They call them juice bombs, Sometimes they almost can taste like orange juice with hops,
Right.
And this is a more citrus than the other ones do.
Yeah.
So, but they're known. Ellipsis Brewing, and that's what's kind of cool. They're down the street from Castle Church Brewery.
Yeah, correct.
But they're known for, we do New England IPAs and stuff. Like we have enough breweries now that they're starting to specialize in, styles, varieties of styles. And this definitely has that New England IPA citrus on it. I think that's why it doesn't ring as dry to me. But it's really good. I'd say it's a Brut New England IPA.
It's super good.
It is. It was one of the. I had a flight when I was there, and this was the one that really stood out to me. They also had this. Man, it was just like 13.2 barrel aged.
You should just brought a barrel of that in.
God, no way. It would have put us on our ass, man. I thank God I only had like a flight of that thing, man. And it was syrupy, but it was good. But yeah, if you get a chance, they're right out there by the airport, and Castle Church is
Castle Church, Ellipsis,
2-3 miles down the road. No. So Tactical is by the
executive airport.
That's right. On the other side of town.
Baldwin Park?
Correct.
Yeah. So if you got the monies and flying to that one,
there you go. Tactical was cool because it was from a bunch of vets that started it up. So you walked in, it's a nice, beautiful open space, and then center square bar in the center. And then all around there was various military paraphernalia where their brew house is there. They had a glass honeycomb window, and then above it was this like barbed wire, and then their their taps that they poured the beer with were assault rifle hand grips.
Oh, that's fun.
They were all,
cool.
and they had some fantastic beers as well. I don't know if I put any on Untapped or not. I probably did. I always forget to do that. But yeah, we have a bunch of just really cool breweries in town. The Orange County Brewers that we've been to now is awesome. That's like in the heart of downtown. So some good beers on tap there too. But Ellipsis is one of the best in town, especially if you're an IPA fan, because they have all sorts of style. This Brut, New England, they had a Saison, which was very good as well. So if you get a chance and are in Orlando for a short period of time, it's not far from the airport. Stop on over and see them.
Like I said, we have a tremendous amount of really good breweries now.
And there's still like 4 or 5
they're
that
just
I
popping
haven't
up.
been to yet.
And we're just talking about here. You start going down to Tampa.
Oh, Tampa,
I mean,
Clearwater area.
Like,
There's all sorts. I was in Tampa 2 weeks back for the. Well, I was 2 weeks back for St. Patty's Day, but then went to the hockey game that following day. And before that, I stopped off at Cigar City Brewing, which is
cheeseburger calzone.
If you're anywhere in the South, it's on tap just about everywhere.
And what was the beer? You know what? I failed on this one because I meant to put it on tap and I didn't. From Florida, I tried the Orange Crush wheat beer yesterday. Phil and I were both on Temple Brewing or something.
Oh no!
But again, it was something that I'd never heard of.
I know. I know what you're talking about.
And it's just crazy to me because we went to this place called Tin and Taco prior to the Orlando City DC United match, and there were all these other new Florida beers that I didn't recognize.
Yeah, they're just cropping up everywhere.
Oh yeah, and then even if you go down south, the Miami Brevard County, that whole area too is what was it?
Yeah,
we had some beers that were brought up for us from, was it Fort Pierce?
Oh yeah, I mean, like if we wanted to, we could have just done this podcast and started with Florida beers. I don't think we could have run out.
Oh no, we'd still be going.
But we sometimes throw in the international stuff, and we like to shake it up and move it around.
Sure, we do.
Much the way the Premier League has been going. Ha! How do you like that segue? Man. Well, first we want to discuss the fact we went to go see the U.S. men's national team play.
We did.
Yep.
We absolutely did.
It was awesome. They played Ecuador here in Orlando City Stadium. U.S. men's won 1-0.
Yeah.
And it was cool because we got to see the A-team play for the most part.
Well, yeah, we got to see a very young group. And it wasn't the best game. It wasn't the most high scoring. But me personally, I liked what I saw from the team. I thought we had very good center defensive mid play. Thought we had good wing play with Areola out there. I thought Tyler Adams looked great. And I know he got hurt, I think.
Well, instead of that thing of the men's national team for a while, we'll just wing the ball down toward the box and hope and pray. There were a ton of setup plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And great crossovers.
Ariola was instrumental in a lot of that.
Some good overlapping.
Jordan Morris and Jesse Zardes were both pretty good. I don't think Zardes had quite as good a match this one in this one, but I think one tweak that I would make is I would swap Zardes and Morris.
Yeah.
I think both players would come alive a little more, but they were on the front foot, and it certainly shows the potential this team now has.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's a friendly, so the pressure's off, but
Sure.
It felt good. Yeah, it felt because what felt good. God love them for what they've done for us so far. All the old farts were gone. It was.
Well,
it was
Michael Bradley got subbed in, and
come in.
Brooks started
Right.
in center back. I liked Brooks starting in center back.
Sure.
I thought he had a very good game. I thought he was stout. Not that he was under pressure a whole lot, but he helped to control that back four. Him and Long back there, I liked a lot in that game.
Well, especially when they brought Bruce Arena back, and we just kind of went with the old guard. Like, it was amazing Landon Donovan didn't end up on the team again. And again, not knocking these players, all people I love, I like, but it just felt like, man, it's time to take a gamble in the new kids. And then you looked at like our starting lineup and how many people were playing in Germany in Premier League. Well, particularly with Pulisic, soon will be in Premier League, but like
Josh
There's
Sargent.
a lot of people
they're
from
on there.
that playing in Europe right now that are Americans. So the young crop has got a lot of talent.
Yeah, and what was cool is the first time that Weston McKinney, Tyler Adams, and Christian Pulisic started a game together.
Yeah.
And I thought all three of them looked really good. I like Tyler Adams in that right back spot. It's almost like an inverted right back spot because he will go inside more and almost kind of help out in that center defensive mid. But he has the wheels and the wherewithal to get up and down the field. And what that does is that puts a lot of... It makes the other team's defense think twice because he can push that offensive lines, and then it also makes the other team's offense think because he will get back and defend very well, and he'll help out that back four.
Yep.
So I think he's going to be a mainstay in the team for a very long time. But nonetheless, it was good to see some young talent out there, and it was good to see a win. Not the prettiest of goals, a kind of a looping deflected goal. But it was good to see them here, and good to see them.
Great atmosphere too at Orlando City Stadium. It was a blast. We had a ton of fun at the game.
Just real quick, what do you think the average age of our starting team was?
23.
24.
25.
Oh, okay.
25. That's
They can rent a car now.
I would, but I would guess if you'd gone back to the Bruce Arena run trying to qualify, it was
35.
Not, yeah,
72.
yeah.
But this is one of the first times we haven't seen, even in a friendly, we haven't seen a completely fatigued team by two-thirds of the way through.
That's true.
Yeah, and this is kind of the first. It's so hard because, especially in the middle of the season, you have these players coming from all of their club teams that are being taught a certain style and a certain way to play. And then they get here in camp for a grand total of 2 weeks and you have to play this way, or here's how we want you to play. You got to play here. You might even be playing out of position of what you
Well,
used
I was
to
going to
play.
say, though, for the most part, I think people were being played not out of position.
Agreed.
Which is
but it's
very different for the men's
It was a
national team.
different style than what they played because Christian Pulisic in Dortmund is a right winger. He played almost that number 10 role, and he sat behind Zardes. So, for the vast majority, nobody was really being played out, but it is a different style that Greg Berhalter plays. But so far, out of 4 games that he has been behind the helm, that they've won 3, drew 1, and lost 0. And they haven't played the stiffest of competition.
No, but
the Chile game that followed that next few days after was probably the hardest that they played out of those 4 teams, and they got a 1-1 draw. So, but for me, it shows promise.
They also looked like they were having a blast playing with each other, which is huge.
And you know what else is a big thing is that 6 of the starting 11 came from overseas play.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. Yeah, there's so many in Europe that are our young crop now has got some serious chops. And we actually have to go back to Jurgen Klinsmann to say thanks because a part of that was a big push of his.
Yeah.
And while some of those people may not still be there, but I mean that he had pulled in, but
and
it was that.
And even if they weren't playing overseas, they are their MLS team's main players,
Right.
or some of their main players.
That's what I was going to say. About half of the team is from overseas. The other half is from MLS. So
that's pretty awesome.
You have teams from DC United, NYCFC, the Red Bulls, Seattle Sounders, Columbus Crew, and then overseas you have RB Leipzig, Wolfsburg, Schalke, Borussia Dortmund, Fulham. I
wouldn't throw Fulham in there, but I get what you're saying there.
It's still
absolutely.
It's still top flight this year.
Absolutely.
For
another 2 months.
For another
2 weeks. Well, no, 2 months until the season ends. But
which that season ends coming up soon. It's ridiculous. But that should. Speaking of seasons, talking about this Premier League season is wrapping up soon, so we should move over to some Premier League.
And speaking of
Ferris has got some top matches to talk about, but you left one out that we skipped because if there's anybody that could beat Man United, it seems like it was the Arsenal. It's a nice little clean sheet win against Man United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer his first Premier League loss.
Now you can't say his name?
He didn't earn it. He didn't earn it.
After the PSG win, after the PSG win, he could say his name. He's like, I learned his name just because of this.
Yes, you're right.
So now all of a sudden you can't say his name?
I don't know.
You sandbagging son of a...
Gollum lost. I mean, gosh.
Well, Gollum also got handed the full-time job during the international break. Arsenal deserved the win. I think it was a little bit harsh.
God, it sounded good to hear that.
I think it was a little bit harsh.
United, Can you say that again?
Arsenal deserved the win. It was a little bit harsh on United. If I remember back, the goals weren't the best. The Xhaka goal, he sure as didn't mean to have that ball swerve that way. He couldn't do that again if he tried. Like, there's no way. And then...
he doesn't have to. He won.
And then I don't even remember the second goal, but I remember it was a cheating foul or something. I don't remember what happened.
Cheating.
Oh, you mean where if you put your hand on the striker's back?
Oh,
and
yes.
You're in between.
Oh my God!
You should know that if you put your hands on the striker's back.
What a Nancy!
And you are in between the striker and the ref, and the striker goes down. You're gonna
what
get
a
called.
Nancy! And it was still a very bad.
Hey, don't be insulting Nancy.
Hey, we still won. We still won.
Yes, she did.
Or we would have won 1-0.
But it was harsh because United didn't play that bad of a game, and we just came off of beating PSG. So I think I even said on the pod, I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if we lose to Arsenal because we were on such a high that we were coming down from that, and Arsenal was playing at home. They had the momentum. They
should have won the Tottenham match the week prior. So the question
talked
was,
about that, correct?
The question was after Tottenham drawing that game, what was the Arsenal that was going to show up to play Man United?
Well, but
were they going to be deflated?
But you're forgetting that also in that week they also lost their first leg of the
big
Europa League. So
and they had to win the next one.
So they were hungry for a win, and they needed this our game to be that catalyst, and then get them them push them in the second leg, which was at home,
where they had to win 3-0, and they did.
And they did, yeah.
So yeah, it was a. I do bring it a little to jab at you, but also because I think it will play into what we're talking about. Obviously, as we go forward. But it's certainly. I gotta be honest. I don't know Arsenal fan I knew was like, man. We drew Tottenham. We should have won. We can beat me. I don't think anybody was thinking that. If you just said a clean sheet 2-0, I'd have slapped you in the face and been like, no way.
Yeah, I thought Arsenal had a chance to win it, but it's probably going to be 2-1, 3-2 kind of thing like that.
Yeah, and there were some good saves. And like I said, I don't think United deserved. I don't think that it was quite a 2-0 game.
Well,
but
let's go back about 8-10 weeks, and the questions were, do you like your goalkeeper? And the question was out. He's actually been really good.
Yeah.
I mean, they've just now gotten their 10th straight Premier League win, and he's had a couple of beautiful saves. So now it's like, ugh, well, I thought that's what they needed to replace. One of the things they needed to find, but I don't know. Jay Leno's good. It's Leno. It's not Jay Leno, but it's almost pronounced.
How's his car
collection? His car collection. I don't know, guys. Trying this thing over in Arsenal. Gross. But that leads us over to
the Premier League.
Premier League's this current set of matches to occur, which Ferris first got up. Manchester City against Fulham 2-0. They are visiting Fulham.
Surprise.
Fulham doesn't get relegated in this match, but is not one more match.
They might even teams might not even play between now and next week, and they might go down.
Hudders is over. They're done. Officially relegated at 14 points.
That was the next game, yes.
But Fulham has 17 points.
They're close.
That's not a lot better.
That can't be far before.
That's 1 foot over the line, the other on a banana peel.
And let's be honest, they're done. They have no defense. I mean, to be honest, the miracle of this match is that Aguero didn't score 4 goals, and this wasn't like 5-0 or something.
Yeah, the game wasn't. Yeah, Fulham are going down. They're. I think everybody knows that. This was big for City because you need to keep the momentum going, and you need Aguero to keep scoring, which he did. Because right now, and we'll get to the Liverpool game a little bit later, but this took them to the top of the table. It took them to the top of the table, but they also have one game in hand. So you need to keep that going by putting balls in the back of the net and putting that constant push onto Liverpool to be like, hey, we're still here. We're going to fight you tooth and nail to the end of this. And yes, it's just Fulham. You should get the win, but you got the clean sheet as well. And Aguero keeps scoring. You want to keep his confidence up. and they got out of the cottage with a 2-0 win.
Yeah, goal differential might be real important.
And they're actually not, they're only 7 goals different.
Right.
And while that sounds like a lot, it really isn't.
With these two teams,
especially when you figure Liverpool can peel off five or so in a match.
But so can Man City. I mean, that's the thing. And they have. I mean, like, it was a much closer goal differential. Then it was like, what, those 2 games, they scored 11 goals or something? I mean, it was ridiculous. But yeah, Fulham just, we hardly knew ye. Rough for Huddersfield because they fought to stay in last year, and then they just did not have a second year like the Bournemouths or Burnleys managed to have in their second year. Like, they just, man, woof.
Huddersfield.
I mean, I guess that leads us to the next match. Yeah. Really, like Crystal Palace, seals the fate for Huddersfield 2-0 at Crystal Palace. I mean, that was going to happen.
Yeah,
I mean,
what's sad, and what I think they were always going to go down, but going down in March, they become only one of 2 teams in Premier League history to go down before the end of March. I believe it was Derby County.
Oh, okay.
In like 07, 08, which is not good. And I think we talked about it on the pod that when they fired, oh Lord, what's his name?
Well, no, he left. Remember, they weren't going to fire him. The German American coach.
Yeah, what was his name?
Yeah. I forget off the top of my head.
David Wagner.
Yeah, but they said, actually, no, we weren't going to ask him to leave, but he decided he wanted to go ahead and leave. So it's just rebuild and see what you have for next season. Sucks because, I mean, Patrick Stewart's Twitter feed was great for these matches. Well, not as much this year as they were last year, but
yeah, I mean, but you're not gonna do anything when you have a minus 41 on goal difference and you only have 14 points. 14 points, gentlemen, is not a lot. That means you've won 4 games and drawn 2 essentially all year. That's not quite what they've done, right? But that's how the math works out. It's a 38 game season. We're at 32 games, and that's what they've done. Not good enough, unfortunately.
Man, I wish you had 2 growlers of this because this beer is going down so easy.
Yeah, I do have. There is some more in here.
Well, I'll wait till I finish this glass, but my goodness, this beer is good. It won't be long. I guess that's really all to say there is about. I mean, Crystal Palace should have beat Huddersfield, and they did.
And Palace is doing very well this season. They kind of have gone under the radar with Papa Roy there, but only sitting on a -3 for the entire year. They're at 36 points. They need 4 more until that 40 point mark, and I don't think they're in any.
Nah, they're fine.
Trouble of getting caught down there in the bottom. They've done well, and good for them, because they will stay up yet again, and they will have a chance to bring in more. What they need really is a number 9. They need somebody that can just out and out. Now, if you look at it, they could get a Mitrovic, who's going to go down with Fulham. Will he stay, or will he still want to play in the Premier League? You could go after somebody like that.
Yeah, he might. He can get picked up by somebody,
right? And that could be Palace.
A team like a Palace, absolutely, right. Absolutely.
But good for Palace. Good win.
And I guess that rolls us over to ye old Man United at home against Radio Watford.
Which was actually a way brighter match than I thought it was going to be.
No, yeah, and
bright because there was also sunshine in
they didn't know what to do.
Jolly old Manchester.
Manchester United won 2-1, and yes, it was a late goal for Watford, but yeah, it was a fun match.
It wasn't easy for Man
Watford's
United.
No pushover. I mean, they're good. In fact, and that was the fear for Man United, right? Was like, well, this is another one of those not an easy match. This is not Cardiff. This is not this is serious competition. Where's Watford sitting at right now? They're at 10th right now. But at one point,
probably about where they'll end.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty much shaping up in the table to where it's all gonna.
Yeah, it's just
minus a couple a place here. A team swapping a place.
It's finagling 3 to 6, and right. And then those last couple of, I feel like the relegation thing is just about done too. Cardiff's got a chance, but they need people to really screw up above them. But yeah,
lovely goal in this one from Marcus Rashford from a beautiful ball by Luke Shaw. No, the goal wasn't necessarily anything special, but the ball in from Luke Shaw was amazing. What a goal. And then I like the Martial goal because it's not your typical Martial or winger type goal. We had to kind of fight and scrap in there for it, and just kind of a clean it up in front of net type of goal. And that made it 2-0 at the time. Gave up a late goal, which is not good, but still got there with the 3 points. And April's going to be a very tough month. Barcelona twice, Chelsea once, Man City once. We play Wolves, who beat us in the FA Cup not too long ago. Play them tomorrow.
I'm not worried
Everton's
about
in there.
your Chelsea match.
I'm not either, but before we get to Chelsea, Bully's at the wheel. Tell me, how does it feel? That's one chant.
Does that feel, I don't know, should they have waited to the end of the season? It seems like this is a rush.
Okay, hold on. You are my Solskjaer, my holy Solskjaer. You make me happy when skies are gray. Oh, Alan Shearer was here, so please don't take my Solskjaer away. I just throw that out there again.
I wonder why they say Alan Shearer was dearer.
Well,
why does that? What does that belong in the chant for?
Because he played for Newcastle and he was goals. I don't really know because
that part doesn't. That's the part that doesn't make sense.
Because he never played for Liverpool. He never played for.
That's your homework.
Okay,
figure out what that.
Do you
right on that?
Do you think it's too soon? They could have waited to the end of the season.
So
why not hold out for Pochettino? Gosh, he's doing great.
Oh my gosh, true. No, I think
Man United, please hire Pochettino. Chelsea and Arsenal begging you to hire Pochettino.
I'm sure. I do think they should have stuck with the plan and just waited till the end of the year. However, I am very glad that he is our full-time manager now. You saw that from all of the players who were ecstatic for him to be named that full-time. I think it was done in a strategic move to get a little bit of boost of confidence with the team. Strategery, exactly. Because April is going to be a tough month.
And there's a bunch of people in Norway crying right now.
Well, I think that while tactically you could say you could have waited to the end of the year, you had him in a contract in the year, at some point you start aggravating fans and stuff because what's the dude got to do to prove? You know what I mean?
Right. Yes. I really hope it goes well and whatnot. But what if it goes tits up in these next 10 games and
you lost to Arsenal? You could have. What if you lost the Watford game? Right.
We had lost two. We had lost two and then named him our full-time manager. We lost to Arsenal and then we lost to Wolves, right? Because it was FA Cup. So we very easily. It's kind of an odd, but I do think it was done to get the team a little bit of a boost and a little bit of a morale boost going into these April very, very, very tough matches that we have in the Champions League and the league. But
it was so Disney sports special. Yeah. You know those Disney movies where like the coach leaves and they're like, "But you're our coach," and then he magically comes back and the team wins everything.
I will say I do like the signing in the fact. I like the signing just as a whole, but I like it. Also, I think it was a strategery move because
I love that word strategery.
Because you're getting him on now, which means he can kind of plan and let the board know, hey, I want to bring in X player. I want to do this. And you're not bringing him in June or July.
Right.
And when the transfer window is pretty much done, which is what we've done with Mourinho and Van Gaal and Moyes. It hasn't been until then to when we named a manager. So now you name it, and now he can kind of finish out the rest of the year, hopefully get into the top four, make a little bit of a run in the Champions League with we get past Barca, and then go, hey, I want X player, I want X. I think I want to build this. This is what I want to build now. Let's start now, opposed to the January or next year's window.
Well, having Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in is it's like having another Jurgen Klopp. I just like him. I mean, I'm not going to root for Man United, but something I like about the guy, and he's got a very Klopp vibe about him. Just he's a very honest guy. It's like the exact opposite of Jose Mourinho in a press conference, like literally the exact opposite.
Oh, yeah.
I used to think that was Klopp, but I actually think it's Ole is more the exact opposite. But you are so friggin' lucky.
Why?
You are so lucky that whoever decided to make this call made it as a Band-Aid that turned out to be great. Because what would you do? Friggin' Zidane just re-signed.
Right.
You gotten rid of Mourinho. A lot of the coaches that were available, Pochettino, I would argue at this point, if Ole wasn't working out, I don't know that Man United, I think there would be hesitancy currently with Pochettino. You could have been in a real crappy place at the end of the season where there was going to be no choice that made people super happy. You know, it would be more, well, I hope this works out. You know what I mean? Like, this worked out so well for Man United, and it's a testament to the folks in power. It's like, we're not going to look this gift horse in the mouth. Let's roll with this, because it could have been bad, right? Like, I mean, it could have been a very weird position to be in, considering how the coaches around the world have kind of played out. I mean, I think we all thought Zidane was done with Real Madrid, and then they signed him back up. Which, by the way,
that happened while we were off.
While we were off. But also, a couple of clubs have done that to where, we thought Jose might go there. That dude, speaking of, is just drifting out in the wind because they really thought he might come back.
He's doing a lot of like commentary and pundit.
He's
type
just taking
work.
some time off, recharging the old
which
batteries.
I think he needs to.
He does.
Yeah. I think,
But seriously, you guys would have that'd have been a really weird position to be in. And this worked out so good for Man United.
Not only did this work out well, even though I'm not a Manchester United fan, I feel like this is the first time in quite some time that Manchester United is set up for success.
Nah, Louis van Gaal.
No.
I just miss that guy.
I do. I miss his antics on the field.
Yes.
But I feel like there's such a
for sure.
There's such a positive outlook going forward. There's still some questions here or there, but there's not a giant question mark over the club.
Way
right
more
now.
better, way more good than bad happening. People, it's kind of like the Klopp effect of like, all right, first year, we didn't compete for the cup, but you feel good about the next go round. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as the way Klopp was running things, it's
also
very
the
much got
first
that
time you
vibe.
think that I feel that there's some longevity in what they're building.
Well, I agree.
It's not so short term like Jose Mourinho or Louis van Gaal
But it will feel a little bit more so. Sorry, I was about ready to sneeze. It'll feel a little bit more so if they sign the rest of the assistant managers that are with him.
I am sure that is.
So Mick Phelan, Kieran, and Carrick. If they need to sign those three as well and keep that core team together. And I think I think that will really set us up for 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. And they also need to look at a David Gill type character. They need somebody that can be that chief of soccer operations or football operations, somebody that Ole can partner with and discuss players. Here's who I want. I want them because they're going to fit into this formation because of X, and they cost X amount. And can we do this? But if we can't, but he needs somebody because right now, Ed Woodward's not that type of person. Ed Woodward's just going to go, okay, who do you want? I'll buy them for you. Or if you're Jose, no, you're a douche. I won't buy them for you. But Ole needs somebody to kind of help guide him. And if Ole's like, hey, I want that player, he needs somebody to go, let's hold on him. Let's give it another year and see how he goes, and then we can put in a bid.
Well, you're going to have to actually cultivate the young talent.
Right, but you need somebody that's still going to bring in those big names, but those smart big names. Because what have we done the past 3 or 4 years that hasn't gone well? We brought in Falcao, we brought in Di Maria, we brought in
Alexis Sanchez.
Yeah, you can certainly.
And by the way, but with a coach who's infamous for being like, well, how can I compete against Man City? They just throw money everywhere. He threw so much money around in his time.
City have spent more than anybody else in the world in the past 5 years.
Jose Mourinho, in his tenure at Man United, can no longer argue about anybody doing that. I mean, he threw a lot of money to get people. And he got people like Pogba, who played terribly under him, who are doing great under Ole.
Correct. And I actually, it's funny you said that. I actually called into Sirius XM today because the debate was, do you sell Pogba to Madrid? Because a lot of stories out like that. And I was the only person that called in and said, absolutely not. Don't sell him. For what we got him for at the time, $80-some million was the world transfer fee. What's up to what now? 100 million, 200 million? He's a bargain. You absolutely do not sell him. You build around him because what he can bring, his creativity, his passing, the physicality is so.
Was
there's
it this
very
match that
few
he had
pieces.
that crazy cross?
No, he didn't. He didn't have a very good. No, it was the.
There's a prior match. He has insane.
But what he can bring is something that him and a handful of midfielders in the world can do. What you need to do is keep and build around him and build a midfield that's going to protect him and the back four, which is what Matic and Herrera have been doing. Now, Matic is up there in age, and unfortunately, Herrera might be on his way to PSG if you believe reports. That would break my heart, but he could be. You need a Casemiro in there, or you need a Nainggolan. Like, you need somebody like that to help complement Pogba that protects him and allows him to play higher up the field with more attacking mindset, where he doesn't have to be worried about trying to get back and help out the defense. And then you also need somebody that's going to protect that back four, who is still young and still trying to find who they are between Shaw, Smalling, and so on. So you, in my opinion, you build around Pogba because he can be that. Manchester United is in his blood. Ole coached him during the youth leagues. Like,
it also makes no sense to me because you have people like Sanchez and stuff that you could totally get rid of, make some money with,
and that might happen in the offseason.
But I'm saying, like, they make way more sense than to get rid of a Pogba.
Agreed.
If you get rid of a Pogba, you better be backfilling that. You're not going to find
who are you going to bring in?
Exactly.
That's the question.
I can name maybe two other midfielders in the world that are going to compare to him: Modric.
And you know what?
And De Bruyne.
You're probably going to be in the Champions.
Who else?
There's a good chance you'll be in the Champions League next year. Why give him to some competition?
True.
You know, I wouldn't. So, I mean, listen to us, Ole. We got you covered.
Ole's at the wheel. Tell me how it feels.
Ole,
you are my sunshine.
Ole. That's what I sounded
my only
like.
sunshine.
Gross.
Now, we move over to Tale of Blues. Cardiff City and Chelsea. Chelsea away, winning 2-1 in their Man City uniform. Because that's all I could think of. I'm like, that blue is so close.
It's like this powder blue, kind of this pale powder blue,
like a robin egg.
Probably it's not even that bright, but it's probably the worst Chelsea third kit ever.
Gosh, your Ferris, always puts titles down. This one's pretty good. If you can't beat them, cheat them.
Hey,
that's pretty great.
To use a line from our very own Ferris, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Amen, brother.
Oh, man.
This wasn't cheating. This was cheating times 2 in this case.
Where was that ref looking?
I don't know.
I think it was cheating times 3.
There were 3 guys offsides, weren't there?
No, there was 2, but then there should have been a penalty in the first half.
A pull down penalty in by
Rudiger?
Thank you. Rudiger just grabs the guy by the shoulder in the hand and just yanks him down in the box. And
6 Nations is going on. It's a part of the same game, right?
And then another one was for a shirt pull in the box that prevented a Cardiff City player from putting his head on the ball.
I mean, Cardiff City's manager was about to melt down. And Sarri hugged him. Like, he got it.
Yeah.
There was no... In fact, when he went to Sarri yelling at the end of the match, it wasn't like he wasn't mad at Chelsea. He was just so livid.
Yeah, I mean, at both. I'd be livid at both. Yeah, and the refs are there to call the match.
But even Sarri knew that was...
Yeah. Chelsea's in trouble.
I got to tell you, man, VAR is coming in after a season where if fans had been very against it, I feel like after this season, they've almost turned for it.
Yeah, it's all going to be in how it's implemented, right?
Sure.
So,
but there's been a lot of stuff like this where it's like, are you kidding me? Like this, know, and this is huge. I mean, because this is where you want VAR to work. This game really matters for Cardiff.
Right. Because they are right now they're on
if they get relegated
the
and
relegation
close,
side,
it's going to really suck if it's by a point or two after this match.
Because you could have had a 3-2 score out of this. Those the 2 penalties, and then and they would have won.
Right,
and
even
to be
a draw
honest,
would, you know,
a draw would have helped them out. Well, it would have helped them out a little bit, Cardiff City, that is. But also, Chelsea scores off of the offside header, and that's kind of when Chelsea starts to take over the match, the confidence they get from that very offside goal.
super limp before that.
You're right. At Cardiff City, now Chelsea owned the stats, but that's not really an accurate portrayal of how the game really went. Chelsea was very flat. All the passes that they had and all the possession they had was really going from side to side. And Cardiff looked much, much brighter than Chelsea did.
It's something to play for.
And we have a lot of issues coming up. And considering the fact that we're not allowed to sign anybody for this summer transfer window and next January.
Welcome, Christian P.
Right? So
The new star by default.
yeah, what sucks is he's coming in at a complete time.
Oh, yeah. He's got to.
He'll be out on loan, though. Don't worry. He'll join one of 75 players currently on a loan.
Yeah. But Chelsea's got a handful of problems. And while we're doing better in spurts, it's really just I mean, what can I say? We're just not. We're good enough just because we have the raw talent, but we don't show up very often. Our own players are starting to have not so veiled after game talks about how unacceptable the locker room is.
How it sucks to play.
Fans are doing a chant. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Get sorry.
Get out, sorry. And then they won. And they were like, oh, that's awkward now.
Yeah,
Like-
and for some reason, and this has kind of been on my mind for a bit, is Sarri does have, I don't want to say the blame, but he does have some of the blame for where Chelsea are. The players, in my opinion, are the overwhelming majority of the way they're playing. And they've done this to a bunch of other managers. When they're losing, 2-0 to some random team they shouldn't be losing to, they don't look upset. There's no sense of urgency. They waste time on the clock. They give up really easy plays. They stand around and let the ball happen. Chelsea's got problems.
And Abramovich ain't one.
No.
I mean, he is one.
I think he's the start of the rolling down the hill.
Yeah.
Because if you
He's
can't,
the boulder.
Yeah, that's probably more accurate.
Yeah.
Just barreling down. Because the other side
And
of
his
it
yacht, by the way.
becomes
off this in international water.
they, speaking of the managerial problems we were just saying that Man United is so lucky to avoid, Chelsea is walking straight into that. Who are they going to hire? There's nobody. It's going to be another sorry type at your best because there's nobody.
Who said Blake? Frankie Lampard.
Oh,
At this point,
if you
I
pulled,
think would
if
be
you
a pretty
pulled
good
an
one.
Ole and almost were like, this is maybe a stopgap just to maybe see,
Yeah.
that would probably be the best thing to bring if the fans really frustrated and you can't hire any new players.
That could solidify the club.
It could at least help
in the
club.
short term.
Yes, and maybe
But the chants aren't going to be as good. Oh, Frankie Lampard, you're my only son. It doesn't work that way.
No,
So,
they got to get a new chant for
I'm sure
Lampard.
I'm sure we'll come up with something.
rhyming with your name is hard. That's about all I got.
But it's going to be a rocky road for the foreseeable future, especially since even if we do make the top 6, which we
You'll make the top
probably
six.
will.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Because the Wolves are next.
they're 16 points behind.
Yeah. So I don't see us not making the top 6. You get rid of Sarri. You've got to figure out who you're going to bring in. And then whoever you bring in has to pull a page from the Orlando City management when they say, these are the players we have. You have to deal with it because we can't sign anyone else. We can pull people from loan and we can push people out on loan.
James O'Connor can be the coach.
Yeah.
You're probably going to find some insanely good players that have just not played for you. Oh, that guy ended up being pretty good.
Maybe.
Well, hopefully you have 40 people out on loan. There has to be a handful of them in there that I mean, at one point, Lukaku was out on loan. De Bruyne was out on loan.
Abramovich is like, God, they made fun of my loan program. Now look, only reason we have team.
Salah was out on loan.
It's like, you know, what was that movie with Keanu Reeves, The Replacements? It's going to be Christian Pulisic and The Replacements up there.
I mean, but you guys do have good young talent. You have Loftus-Cheek, who got the goal in this one, the second goal. Hudson-Odoi sat on the bench, but he's been playing very well for you guys as well. So
he's going to want to go.
Odoi.
But if a new manager comes in and actually plays him, he's not going to want to go. He's not being played right now by Sarri, so yeah, he's going to want to go. But if Sarri gets canned, then he's going to be like, hey, I have a chance.
And they may not let him go just out of they can't let anybody go right now.
I think Chelsea it would be even more of a dumpster fire there if they didn't sack Sarri. And they went into the season without being able to sign. Like, you're basically doing this all of next year. There's always, nobody that wants that.
There's always a bigger dumpster.
Sarri would stay. I think if Sarri does not get canned and finishes the season,
he goes get a carton of Oaks and then just walks out of the bridge.
Yeah, done. Because let's be honest, we all saw it. He almost quit.
Yeah,
last month.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
and you felt it. You feel the air out of the. Everybody saw. Then he stopped, turned around. He was going to walk out.
That door was open for him too. Remember the steward opened the door for him. Had he just walked down the tunnel, God, that would have been brilliant.
Like, I'm going to go get some cigarettes.
Cigarettes, a bottle of scotch.
I need some gelato. I'm out.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of this season and the transfer window end up looking for Chelsea, or not transfer window, the off season.
Yeah, but it's still under appeal, right? Like it's still upheld for the time being, but it's or was the appeal denied?
No, appeal has not officially been denied yet.
Gotcha.
But even if so, right now the sentence is 2 years, right? So even if they commute the sentence down to 1 year, it's still going to hurt in the short term because we can't sign anybody till this time next season. That's a rough one.
It'll be interesting.
Hashtag sorry, not sorry. And I still don't know who you're going to hire. And now all of a sudden the Frank Lampard thing really does sound like it is going from
Pulisic, player manager.
Well, it actually goes from being like an outside to this might be your best shot. Not, as you said, not necessarily getting the best coach. A coach you'd have to be willing to hopefully improve, but just to make the fans happy.
Yeah, you're just trying to galvanize some support. That's really what you're going to do with that.
Frankie Lampard would do that.
Yeah, that's what you're going to do. You're going to bring the fans back home. You're going to give a sense of nostalgia, camaraderie to both the fan base and the players. And then you just hope that everybody's going to be happy and actually play. Because right now we play like we just don't really care. And the person who showed the most heart at all in this game was Azpilicueta on his offside header. He scored and he was like so pumped to actually score. And you could tell for the briefest of moments, he was super excited to be playing. And then that flame, snuffed out about 10 minutes later.
Guys, I think we have this all wrong. Not Frankie Lampard. Stevie Bruce.
Oh, please.
The pie-eating Stevie Bruce himself needs to come into the bridge to save
Louis Van
Chelsea.
Gaal. Let me go.
Assistant.
Hey.
Assistant to Stevie Bruce.
He's come and gone to every club he's ever been at. Let's make it a third time's a charm. Jose Mourinho.
Yes. Bring him back.
At Chelsea.
Bring him back.
All of a sudden, it's like, where's Christian P? No one can find him. I'm just not showing up. I'm out.
There's just the vacant locker.
Yeah, I'm out.
Pulisic above the jersey.
Have you seen this man?
Speaking of maybe manager problems, our next match, Liverpool 2 over the Spurs 1.
Ooh,
lucky as
what
Liverpool.
What an interesting second half.
Lucky. They were Tottenham had so many chances in like 10 minutes that they should have buried this game well. And then this weird ass Everton off the crossbar type of own goal happens. I don't know, man. I had another thing on here, but I took it off of there because it would have been bad. I will tell you guys off air.
Well, they do
worse than what I already have the headline.
They do say that the good teams even when they're having a crap game, they still find a way to win. And they
crossbar and an own goal. No.
This is an argument watching Orlando City last night. Just start shooting into the net because anything can happen.
Right.
When you
shoot into the net on this one.
When you desperately need, but like get that ball over there, right? Get it in front of the goal somehow, somewhere. This is what happened. This was.
How about Sissoko? You buried the chance 2 minutes earlier.
Let's be honest. I mean, I'm watching it. I can tell you, I don't care that when Tottenham went on that streak, I was like, Liverpool's going to win this. You could feel it. Tottenham, while they were going for all the chances, they just were not. I thought at best this game ends in a draw for Tottenham.
Would have been a good result all around.
But let's be honest, we're talking about Tottenham. I knew they were going to lose, and that they lost on an own goal.
So Spursy.
That is Liverpool isn't lucky. Tottenham is Tottenham. Like
Liverpool's lucky too.
No, but this.
Hey, if this happened to Manchester United and you won by that,
I'd be saying the same thing.
You'd be all over.
I'd be saying the exact same thing. And listen,
and you'd be like, "I'll take it, 3 points."
The PSG win. That okay. Lucky as hell with that penalty call. I will lucky as I'm sorry. You're welcome. So, but I say that because it's multiple times this year this has happened to them. In any cup draw they've had, they've been so lucky. In the Everton game and a handful of games, they should have lost to Fulham the game before the international break.
Well, how about
they escaped from that one?
But you know why they're not lucky? Home Slice got to catch that ball. Tottenham's like,
and that's Hugo Lloris, World Cup winning goalkeeper. Why he does it, I don't know. Like it's why the ball bounces off the crossbar, bounces right. Like yes, there is an element of luck to these games. Sadly enough, this feels like it's a Liverpool season where they might actually win it because everything is going their way so far.
But as Ron said, the champions do that. Like that's the difference.
When you have that good of a morale going and a confidence going, and that's not just in this sport. This is in tons of other sports.
But they don't. That's the thing is they are not firing on all cylinders like they were.
But that's what's crazy.
Beginning of the year last year. They're not.
But they're still winning. That's the thing. Like that's the difference between the good and the bad. Last year, Man City had a bad game. They still won.
And they have to win out because Man City, if they win out, they win. Because Man City has a game in hand.
But Man City's schedule is way harder.
But what I will say to that is Liverpool's schedule looks easy, but you're battling teams that are fighting for their Premier League lives. That's not always easy to play against.
But that's only one of their next matches coming out. The rest are all either in 12 through 16.
Southampton could still go down.
Yeah,
that's a 5-point gap.
That's not very
likely.
Burnley
can still go down. It's a 5-point gap.
Not very
Brighton
likely.
and Hove can still go down. It's a 5-point gap.
Not
Newcastle
very likely.
Could still go down. I doubt they will, but you're talking from 15th down. Could still go down. It's a 5-point gap. Cardiff.
It's not very likely.
Cardiff should be within 2 points of those teams.
You're just saying what you wish to happen, not what the reality looks like.
Okay, but they have to win out against City, who's firing on all cylinders, and they have a game in hand. Plus, they have a +7. Yeah, that's not a great deal, but it's Liverpool screwed the pooch when who do they draw against that then? Whatever their game in hand was, they drew against. So can they still win? Yes. Yes, they can. I think it's going to be very difficult for them to do that. And I think everybody will be looking at their schedule as this is an easy run. I think they will even see that as an easy run. But I think they will drop points in that run.
Only time will tell.
Yeah.
I still think you're letting Tottenham way off the hook. I don't think it's as lucky as Tottenham's inability to close out a season or, in this case, a match. Like, again, we were talking about a Tottenham who, let's go all the way back to Leicester's championship year in the Premier League, going full bore and then just deflate. A month and a half ago, they were in the race everybody thought it was going to be between Liverpool and Man City, but mathematically they were in the race to win. They are barely in the top 4 now, only by goal differential. And they got jumped by Arsenal, a club that brought in a new manager, and they're the next being down by Man United, another club that was struggling and brought in a new manager. Like,
I mean, in fairness, Tottenham hasn't signed anybody. This is where,
we said beginning of the year,
this is where signing people help because you have depth. Yep. Right now, they don't have any of that.
And they can't really spend the money because their stadium costs them twice as much.
$7 billion trillion, like times it by 17. But they will be the only stadium that has a microbrewery in there. How freaking cool is that?
That's cool, but it also does mean that basically they've just Chelsea'd themselves without getting the sanctions. Like they could be in a really tough situation. Also, if you are the Harry Kanes and the other good players on this club and other people come start knocking going, hey, you actually want to get a trophy before you retire? It's going to be way harder for Tottenham to hold on to quality talent.
They've always had an issue trying to hold on to quality talent.
Yeah, but
Bale, Modric. I mean, you can go down the list.
They were able to hold on to it currently with this group with the idea of, hey, we really could be contenders. And now it's like, nope, no, you can't. You can't
I still don't think
if Tottenham ends above Arsenal, or Arsenal ends above Tottenham this year when it's all said and done, that's ridiculous. Arsenal should not have been able to do this at this point of the season.
But I think you can still retain a lot of that talent. I mean, Kane's staying as long as Poch is staying. Eriksen could go, and that would be a big loss.
Song, that would be a loss if he left.
Yeah, I don't know where Son could go at this point. I mean, I don't know. Yes, it is very Spursy for them. This is a very Spursy end of the year so far. There's still some games left. For my sake, I hope that they become even more Spursy because this loss did get us tied with them on points.
You're 5 goals down. Though.
Right. So I do hope that they continue to be as Spursy as they possibly can be, but I don't think that's going to happen.
By the way, they are 3rd for most own goals this season. I had to do a check.
But that's where
first?
I go.
Who's first?
The one Wolves. They're tied.
But that's where
they're tied with Southampton.
You don't foresee any sort of an own goal situation with Lloris and Alderweireld, 2 of the best in the league, and it just doesn't. I mean, it did. So it does happen. It does, but it's very unexpected. You expect that out of a Gary Cahill and
but
whoever there it is.
It's just I think this also really sucks for Pochettino's career because I think, well, obviously he's not going to get a job at Man United, but if they cannot next year be in the running for the title the whole time, I think his star starts to fade, and this is as high as he's going to get in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And I need some more year beer.
But when Chelsea bring him in, all right, so do we want to finish off the growler? There's about probably another glass each. Or we can go with a second beer.
Well, you've opened the growler, so freshness-wise, you probably
I'm
should
not worried about
finish
that. I can do that one as soon as I get home.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I don't know. Now I'm confused.
Ferris. Salesman.
It is another local beer.
Son of a...
And one that I don't think you have tried, Blake. Ron and I might have tried.
Listen to him trying to paint the picture. What do you... Clearly you want to try the other beer.
Then I feel like we should try the other beer. And if I drink fast enough, I can have a little of the other one too. Because I am home.
That's an accurate statement.
Well, while you're pulling that info up, let's wrap up Premier League.
Do it.
So the next match this ties into it is Arsenal today beats Newcastle pretty handily.
Expected win for them, right?
Yes. Yeah. Although,
especially
Newcastle has had some good form lately with, Almiron and everybody. So
they did have a little bit of flair today, but it didn't last very long.
No. And Arsenal, it's so weird for me to see Arsenal up 2-0 with, 10 minutes left, whatever.
And finish it.
And playing the ball back, just holding on. You know what I mean? Like, and Lacazette, great goal for him. He needed that goal. That was the second goal that came in. Aaron Ramsey got the first one, then he got carted off.
It was assisted by Aubameyang, who came off the bench again. I don't understand why he's on the bench.
Dude, they won 2-0.
Well, they did, but
I mean, like, you're right. He came off the bench, but I think it's a matter of you gotta pair these guys out a little bit because they're still trying to. Now they're in an interesting spot, right? You need to win. Well, I think you still want to win. You're in a tournament. You want to win it. You want to win the Europa League. Before though, there was we really try to win the Europa League. It's our only chance of being in the Champions League. Well,
your chances got a lot brighter.
A whole lot brighter. Arsenal's now in third with 63 points. That's insane.
Yeah.
That is nuts.
No one would have ever called this at the beginning of this season.
Not with their new
manager. I had them winning the league, if you remember from my predictions.
Not with their new manager.
But
yeah, but also you were like,
and
you weren't
so that brought them down to third. Well, you're welcome.
But they're currently too on a 10 win streak
at home.
Yeah, in the Premier League. So, I mean, I'll be honest. I could see Tottenham screwing up a lot more than Man United in the top four being Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, and Man United in some, third or fourth for the two of them either way. Than I do see Tottenham right now because it just feels like they're doing that thing again where they're just fading at the end. And if they end the season not in the top four after the season they had, boy, that really dings Pochettino hard. Now, Unai Emery, on the other hand, I think was a okay sign. Like the reaction was, all right. I mean, okay, this guy's got some pedigree. We'll see how this works. I mean, we've had the same manager for 20 years. Who knows? If you'd ask people if they'd have been happy with being third, with what 5 matches left, pushing Tottenham below people, well, yes, I take that. Done. We're done. I'm happy with that. This is crazy. And he's even managed to get some good defense out of a team that didn't have much of a defense. He's kind of restructured how the back works.
Yeah.
And Newcastle not your biggest threat.
No. But even still, prior to what was that score again? Man United 2-0 Arsenal. So he has managed to get
knocked Arsenal out of the FA Cup.
Decent defense out of a team that did not have one. So Emery might be around for a little bit.
Well, and what I do like, I do think he's going to be around for a bit. But I don't know if you mentioned this already or not. Aaron Ramsey scored the first goal in this.
Yeah,
despite already, yes, he did. But despite already securing a move to Italy in the summer on like an ungodly amount per week, he is still playing and giving 100%. You can't ask much more than that.
He's finishing out his Arsenal career.
Absolutely,
truly a man in red. Like, they're
very cool to see.
I don't know what that injury. I hadn't heard the updates for it, but Juventus was like,
yeah. What do you think is going to make Newcastle more competitive than 13 or 14 or 15, where they're teetering now?
Well, if you ask a Newcastle fan, it's going to be Ashley. You got to dip into the pocket, mate.
That's going to be.
Well, I mean,
that's not.
Rafa Benitez said that himself.
That's a very bad Geordie accent.
But no, Rafa did say that. I mean,
Rafa said we need to be spending 75 million or so on good strikers.
75 total for them would be good. We're like, the United and City that can drop 75 on one player, but 75 total for them would bring in really good talent.
Right.
And I do think Ashley may have. They brought in Almiron, right? In the winter transfer, and I think that's a step in the right positive, but. They need to bring in somebody that's going to put the ball in the back of the net. Their sub today in the Arsenal game was Mutu, who came from Mainz. A nice player, but not somebody that threatens the back four necessarily.
Right.
So does Mitrovic go back to Newcastle? Maybe, but you do need somebody that's going to put the ball in the back of the net for them. That is a out and out number 9. If you think about Newcastle, they've always had that number 9 there. Whether it was Shearer, Andy Carroll, Owen, like they need that number 9 there. And I don't know who that could be for them, but they need to find that.
I think you'd have a good
because he's a number 10.
No. I'm saying you find that with your Almiron, you're going to have a great
Joseph
combo.
Martinez, just bring him over. Boom,
done.
Right?
Atlanta sure is using them this year. So
stranger things have happened.
I'm sorry, Blake. I've upped that. We were off for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know. You're making up for it.
He was saving them up.
Good grief. I had 2 pages the last time I'm like, good, we can't do these long pods anymore. Like, it's taking me forever to edit all this. But yeah, holy crap. Arsenal, top 4. Not only top 4, they're third and they're above Tottenham. If they could actually have a St. Totteringham's Day, the season ends with them above Tottenham. The Emirates will melt down for the end of the season. They'll be so happy with that. They won't know what to do with themselves.
All right, before we move on to some MLS talk, boys, we'll do this real fast. The second beer of the night is another local beer. Ron and I were lucky enough to partake in the media event grand opening of this brewery.
Oh, is Ivanhoe Brewing?
Ivanhoe Park Brewing.
Oh, yeah.
Which now have some of their beers, some of their core beers, available in cans. It's IvanhoeParkBrewing.com, and the one that we're going to have is one of their main cores and kind of why they are who they are. Joyland American IPA from Ivanhoe Park. It is named after the iconic amusement park that brought joy to the Lake Ivanhoe area in the early 1900s. Our American IPA brings joy of a mouth-watering kind. American malt and hops lead the charge, and a slightly dry finish allows an ample bitterness to really shine, while being supported by a malty balance. We use only the finest ingredients and unique hops to make this beer stand out in this uber-popular style, most entered category at the Great American Beer Festival for 10 years straight.
Can't wait.
And for those who don't know the geography, this is right in the downtown area of the city of Orlando. Oh, cool can.
Yeah, the can's got a kind of the Joyland logo, which is a kind of a big top tent kind of thing, with the tickets sticking out of the opening of the tent, the big flags waving on top.
Oh, I like their thing for Ivanhoe, connecting Orlando's historic past to our brewery's commitment to community education and the use of quality ingredients. Ivanhoe Park Brewing Company seeks to make craft beer accessible and approachable. That's awesome.
An independent craft brewery for everyone. Aww.
Their site says it is 7.0% ABV, serve at 45 degrees, and you can pour it in a pint glass, of course, if you want to, and it pairs well with medium sharp cheddars. Sorry, I didn't bring any. Thai and Indian dishes, fish, and citrus desserts.
I like how they have the flavor profile in the bars on the back.
Yeah.
The amount
like a
of
video game health bar is what it looks like.
Right, yeah, exactly. The amount of hops, the amount of body, and the amount of color. And I'm assuming the left is the least amount of color and the right is the most amount of color, meaning the darkest.
Right. And all of their cores are kind of named after some amusement park, Carney style, boardwalk style stuff. But their beer that Ron and I had there, that I would love to get our hands on, and Blake, you need to try, is the Tupac Porter. It's a milk porter, and it just won gold at, stand by, let me see where, it just won gold at the latest Florida Craft Beer Festival.
And of course, there's their Suck It Trebek Sour.
There's Suck It Trebek Sour, yeah.
So funny.
Suck It Trebek. I'll take S-words. I'll take swords for 300.
Thank you, Alex.
All right, let's try this bad boy. You gonna pour, Ron, so we can see the color?
Agreed.
All right. Foamy. It's carbonated, y'all. Ooh, it smells delicious. I think we got another citrusy pale ale on our hands here. Beautiful head retention.
Look at that color. Head.
Hey, that's a very dark gold.
Yeah.
Almost copper.
Almost.
Oh, that smells good. All right, so Joyland? Was that what it was? All right. Cheers, gents. Whoa. That's very different than our previous beer.
Yes, indeed. Ooh,
that's a lot more hops, a lot more malt. But you know, you got a bit of a bitter, from the hop and his normal aftertaste, but not a ton.
No, but it is a lingering aftertaste. It hangs out for quite some time.
Yes, it is.
Dang, dude, that's good. Ooh. That's tasty.
Well done, Ferris.
2 locals.
And a microphone.
I got 2 locals.
Oh, I was like, what's that reference? Okay, I'm with you now. All right, so this moves us over to our flight of MLS. We'll try to be brief in this. And
we had a little flight of local beers tonight.
We won't make this one of our 4-hour pods. Not that we had a 4-hour pod, but we probably could have the last time we got together.
How did you just fire?
So,
it was a magnet.
We're gonna.
Oh, you're never a sausage place.
Yeah, yeah. It's for the Ron dropped his south of the border. You're always a wiener at Pedro's. South of the border magnet. So since my kiddo's been watching all the Sesame Street lately, the first 2 games we're going to talk about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 goals were scored in these first two matches. It was crazy. First up, Kansas City, Sporting KC, as a matter of fact. They win, in a really slow moving, kind of a boring, non-scoring game, 7-1.
7-1
against a team that I thought was better than that, Montreal Impact.
Man,
I mean,
this week was the neon sign pointing to all of the terrible defenses.
yeah, which one could argue is a general problem in MLS.
Yeah.
But you've got a brace by Russell, a hat trick by Namath. Gutierrez gets a goal. Busio gets a goal. That's the
supporter in the third row also got a goal.
Yeah,
too,
the ball
right?
boy got a goal. Yeah.
Ball kid.
I mean, I don't know what to say. It's just that's just nuts.
It was an ass whooping.
That is what that was. A can was opened and it was delivered.
It was a frothy can of whoop ass.
Yeah.
And this is on the back of, I believe, Sporting's midweek first leg win, or no? It goes right before their first leg against Monterrey in the CONCACAF Champions League.
I feel like yes, that sounds right. Yes,
right. So where they beat, who did they beat? They beat Independiente in the previous leg. This is the semifinals, I believe, of the CONCACAF Champions League. So CCL. They're firing right now. They're just absolutely.
I think I picked them to win the league. I feel like, is that my MLS pick?
I'll go back and look. I don't know.
But Kansas City looks good. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that. They were. I mean, that's like playing easy mode on FIFA. Is what that was like.
Child Mercy Park. It has a weird.
Yeah, because there was no mercy.
There was no mercy in this game.
Is there a mercy rule?
Not in the MLS. Not in any league, as far as I know. At least professional leagues. Blake, you did pick them to win the championship.
I thought I remembered that. Is this the match? There's a stat I want to throw out to you guys, but nope.
Size 7% of the time every time?
Nope, it's not. It's not this one. It's not. We'll get to that. We'll get to that match. Yeah, there you go. 7 goals. That's insane. MLS.
I think it's only like the third time it's happened in the entire league's history.
But again, as Ron said, a lot of defenses need work because our next match is San Jose at home hosting LAFC, and they score LAFC, I should say, win, scoring 5-0.
5. A hat trick +1 by Vela, and then Rossi and Badischauer score as well. San Jose basically didn't show up.
They haven't shown up in the past 12 games.
Yeah, but Montreal Impact,
they haven't won a game since last year.
But that's why that's a big deal.
Yeah,
I mean, not March of last year, but they haven't won a game in a long time.
But that's kind of the difference between San Jose and Montreal Impact. You don't expect Montreal Impact to have been beaten that bad by Kansas City. Mm-hmm. San Jose 5-0 LAFC. Now, LAFC looking real good so far.
Top of the table in the West.
If they can stay healthy, man, they are going to be great.
And I think that they were my pick to win the West.
That's good. Sorry,
and
good.
San Jose just has. I mean,
it's good.
It's good. San Jose is just pitiful. Wando's the only one, and if you're not getting service,
he's an island.
Exactly.
No man is an island. Bon Jovi from the Young Guns 2 soundtrack.
Except Wondolowski. He is an island.
Yes.
He's running around in the opponent's box going, I have invented fire. Wilson. That's all he's good for right now.
I see that.
I had to pour that beer in a glass because I like the smell too much.
It's a great beer.
It does
really
say
good.
you pour it in the glass, yeah. I'm gonna continue it in the can. But LAFC are gonna be a big team to contend with this year, and you're seeing some of these high scores because of the change of the playoff format. It is so crucial to try to get that top seed now.
Yep,
you get that top seed, you get that first round
it's
bye.
A
and
good
it's
year,
for
this.
So you don't want the scores to be 5 and 7-1 if you're the team that's trying to go for the playoffs. But if you are also trying to go for it, you're trying to get the most goals to try to get that gap between you and whoever you might be going against, whether it's first, second, third, on that goal difference, because now it's all seeded in who you play, and it's a bracket style NCAA type bracket. You get first, you get a bye, and then you play the,
well, it's typical of American sports playoffs.
Yeah, it's more. Yeah,
but it adds a little bit different element, and all of these games now mean a little bit more to that. Opposed to, we'll just win. We'll be one of the 6 teams to get in. Then we'll do 2 legs. If we lose the first leg, then we'll be fine in the second leg when we go back home. Like,
as long as these goals count, as these goals count on the rainy Tuesday with Jupiter aligned with Mars.
Right.
Yeah. Agreed. This is way better.
What ain't better is this season for Atlanta United. They go to Columbus. Columbus wins 2-0.
Jesse Zardes on the score sheet and Santos in the second minute.
United struggling.
Not a single win. They have 2 points this year.
What's crazy is they lost 2 key people. That's it. And one was a manager.
Yeah, their manager and Almiron. And they got a manager who, what is it? We looked at the stat, hadn't won a game since Jurgen Klinsmann was coaching the men's national team. Frank de Boer. So
didn't win a game at Palace, was his last coaching job, and yet he got named to the defending champs.
That's so
Atlanta
weird.
United.
So do you think like he's just going in and changing things? Is it just, Almiron, especially when we saw how Almiron quickly adjusted to the Premier League? Let me rephrase that. Premier League's trying to adjust to him in the sense that other teams are now having to play Newcastle much differently. Was that just such the difference that
one thing I think it is? And because I say this because the league is predicated on number 10s.
Wayne Rooney coming in last year.
Wayne Rooney coming in.
Yep.
Ignacio Piatti. He's more of a left winger, so I'll toss that one to the side. But Javinko, number 10. Diego Valeri, number 10.
I'd argue we were more competitive with Kaká in that role.
Number 10.
Because we don't have that in Orlando right now.
So what Almiron brought was he pulled the strings. He was the creative mindset behind that entire offense. Yes, Joseph Martinez has the most goals in MLS history. He had this and that. But those wouldn't have happened if Almiron was not on the pitch. And you're seeing that effect right now because he's not doing that.
They drew or lost to Cincinnati.
They were up 1-0, and Cincinnati scored with like 5 minutes left.
A draw that feels like a loss.
But not in FC Cincinnati's home stadium, in Atlanta's home stadium. That was unheard of last year.
This is obviously, this is their 3rd year now, right? Yeah, 3rd year. So very competitive first go round. Second one, win the MLS Cup. What a fast crash back to earth this has been. Now, we have said this over and over. We said it Sunday night at Orlando's match. These first 6 to 9 games in the MLS, sometimes I almost read like preseason. Yeah.
And we're at game 5 right now for most teams.
There does feel like this is a little more. If you had no Almiron and this was happening, but you still had Tata, or reverse that or something, this feels a little more worrisome, though.
Yeah, I feel like the team is sorely missing Tata as the manager. He had, in tactics alone, he was very, very astute last season in how to set up a formation and who to play and when in order to shut other teams down, to keep them on the front foot, counterattacking or all-out attacking. They don't have that kind of tactician right now. And Tata really understood the MLS. So I don't think De Boer is an adequate replacement for Tata.
No. Why De Boer then? You know what I mean? Like, it was an odd choice. This is the game that had the stat I wanted. I don't know if you guys saw this. The Swickster, an Atlanta United fan, Robert Swick on Twitter, he shared a tweet from Tom Bogert, which I'll get to. The Tom Bogert tweet was showing the second half passing stats. Columbus Crew 45%, Atlanta United 54%, and in soccer, in 70% percentage is normal conditions is considered bad. They said every pass in the entire second half was 50-50. He wasn't lying. The game was a little rough in that respect, in terms of. I mean, he was like, this is embarrassing on the behalf of the officials to allow the game to continue. It was just a terrible they had water on the field. So,
oh, right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was like playing on a slip and slide.
Yes. So it
It
was
was terrible. The game, in all honesty, shouldn't have been played.
Well, and that's what his argument is. When he says to emphasize the terrible conditions, this is Robert Swick at the Swickster on Twitter, said 70% passing percentage in normal conditions is considered bad. When at Longshoe said every pass in the entire second half was 50-50, he wasn't lying. This was embarrassing on the behalf of the officials to allow the game to continue. So,
but it's also not an excuse for how Atlanta has played so far this year.
No, that doesn't excuse. Right, that doesn't excuse everything up to this point.
It's just one excuse.
Yeah.
In a
last year's Atlanta would have won the first four, and this would have been their or whatever. You know,
or you would like. To me, the most telling thing was they give up a goal to FC Cincinnati, a newly promoted club at home, in like the 84th minute. That's not. That's the defending champs.
And I hate to say it, but Columbus scored 2 goals in this game.
And an early goal too.
You know what I mean? So So field conditions are what they are, but when you have the fans are starting to throw that stuff out again, not that those conditions were not terrible, and maybe the game should not have been played. It's a very different year for Atlanta.
It's fun to see all of the. I feel like the MLS in general.
The bore out is already happening.
It's crazy.
Well,
but the fair weather fans that MLS has on so many teams in the league really comes out when you're in a slump. I mean,
and you just won the championship.
vicious,
and which also means you did not pay attention to MLS because Toronto went and won the MLS Cup and then were atrocious the next season.
Mm-hmm. And what did I say?
And that's
when
MLS.
We made our picks. This league is full of parity, and I had them as the biggest team to miss the playoffs altogether. Now it's a long year; they could still get in it somehow. But yes, it's a long year. But yeah, you're right. That Toronto FC wins it and then is third to last in the East last year. So it is just the league is just full of so much. So
when
random
do we go to
parity.
first then?
That's a whole separate podcast.
Yeah, when we get new ownership. But anyways, moving along. Speaking of Orlando City.
Yep. So oh my gosh, I just read your headline for Atlanta United.
I don't remember what it was.
Don't let it rain on Atlanta's parade. Oh wait, that's happening.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty bad. We just lost all of our listeners in Atlanta. Orlando City, DC United visiting Orlando. They win 2-1.
Rooney.
But that's kind of why we all showed up to see freaking Wayne Rooney playing in our city.
Well, Nanny and Wayne Rooney, Manchester United
Although
players.
Nanny did a lot of standing around.
Yeah. Well, not in the first half. Most chances were kind of.
He sailed one over the bar in the first
round.
half.
He had one shot from out of the box.
Yeah, but he created the other chances in the first half.
I don't think that's entirely
That is accurate. He
should have scored on the.
Matinho had way more to do in that game than
Nani
did.
Do you know what Matinho had to do? Give the ball away over and over.
No, he was way better.
Well,
That was
I thought Matinho had a good
ball
game.
away.
Yeah, as excuses as a purport. Never mind. Anyways, we won't go there. But Nanny didn't have his best game. I will agree with that. I think it was kind of He missed that header that he should have buried. That I don't remember. Was it a Dwyer cross in?
Yes. Yeah.
And then he had one off of a corner that was on frame, but just right to the keep. So we have to figure out a way to really fit Nanny into the team. And I think going back to that number 10 role that I was talking about, at his stage of his career, why don't you try him in a number 10 role opposed to off on the wing? Because from what I've seen from him so far this year, he has played passes and balls. Take the one in Chicago, for instance, where instead of playing that ball out wide, he had a cutting through ball that was brilliant.
Yeah.
That 9 times out of 10, an MLS player, if you want to say that, would have played that ball out wide, which wouldn't have been a bad ball to play by any stretch. But Nanny saw something different and played that ball there. So everything I've seen from him, why don't you set him up in that number 10 role? Nanny, who the cares?
I like that you say Nanny.
Nanny, give me Nanny the Fran. Was her name Fran?
Yeah, that's so funny.
But get him in that number 10 role, right?
Fran Drescher.
Oh my God.
Just got referenced on our show. I love
so
it.
great.
But get him in that number 10 role to spray some balls around and open up the field a little more. Yep, you're welcome.
Are we not doing that anymore? Is that not a thing?
Because if you're going to play a back five like we played, right? you can play him in that number 10 role, move Sasha in behind him, and then play Dwyer up on his own.
He scores when he wants. He scores when... No, he doesn't.
Well, he did score in this game. Well, I think he wanted to at that time, but he did score.
What about the other 3 shots he had that he dragged
But
wide?
you could play a Dwyer, possibly Mueller, although we talked he could be better coming off the bench.
Yeah, but
then sitting Manny behind him.
Yeah.
And then what that back 5 does is you have Matinho and any number of right wing backs that we decide to play. I think it was Ron in this game. Ron.
Samsonite.
That's way off.
What the hell are you talking
I
about?
just wanted you to keep saying Ron.
I didn't play.
Those wing backs will be the ones that get higher up the pitch and almost play that nanny role where he tries to create.
I said during this match, I actually missed
from the wings, from the sides.
I missed Ramos. I missed a right back that would like overlap and play in some service.
Right.
Yes.
So,
Yeah,
so
and not
push
turn it
Nanny
inside
more in.
every single minute.
Yeah. The midfield was atrocious. We just kept giving the ball away.
Excuse was in there. God bless you.
I think it goes down to fundamentals. Better, more accurate passing.
Play to the whistle.
That happened. That's very true.
Several times.
Play to
And
the
defend set
whistle
pieces.
and shoot the ball.
Yeah.
We tried these little ticky-tack passes in the box when we should be just putting one on frame and seeing what
Seriously,
happens.
Watch the Tottenham game today. Just get that ball in front of the net. Anything can happen, especially in MLS where
We try for these like perfect
what are you
shots at
waiting
goal.
for?
And
I never know what she's doing.
And what's crazy? That has been under 3 different coaches. We've had that too.
Yes, that is a
mentality
problem.
of like
That's the ownership. I don't
shoot
know.
the ball. Well, I don't. Yeah, I mean that'd be. I don't. You would blame the ownership, but like that has been a weird.
Oh, here's another one.
No, it's because everybody watches Barcelona and Messi, and they keep the ball on the ground and they pass so nicely. So everybody tries to do that. Just stop. Do the Ginger Mourinho's way and huff that ball up and get the damn ball in the goal.
And how about we stop with the short damn corners?
Oh my God.
You're not up to nothing.
Jesus
Orlando, you're never up to nothing. Stop with the short corners. You need to get the ball in the box for a chance on goal.
Short corners are beautiful when you are up 2-1 and you don't want the other guy to counter.
When you want to waste time,
When
the short
you
corner's it.
Are
you are
down 2-1,
Or you are tactically astute in what you see from the other team. Go and watch our short corner. It is a dumpster fire.
He forgets. He just runs
forgets
from the
what's
corner
happening
into the
and
box.
just runs into the box.
And we give up a goal
and the
kick
person
off
tries
the
to play
corner.
it back to him. And it just goes out of bounds. And you're going, wait, we're down 2-0. What are you guys doing?
And the only one that I can see with any real heart, and this is both really amazing for him and also for him, is Mueller coming off the bench. He immediately sparks energy. He has such, you can feel it the second he steps onto the pitch. There's just this aura that explodes off of the guy.
And if that happens in 2 more games, when does he just start?
Well, so here's the question. Do you start him? Because he has been way more effective off the bench than starting.
I don't know. We need to start. We need to score goals early because we're not going to defend them all. I don't know. I don't know.
Now here's the thing. The 2 goals we gave up were off of set pieces. They weren't out of open play. So all in all, the defense wasn't terrible.
And one of them, a gorgeous free kick by Wayne Rooney that basically
Shot across.
was a corner.
Shot across. Like, was it supposed to be a cross or was it actually a shot?
It doesn't matter.
I don't know, dude. It
What
was
difference
just.
does it make?
No, I mean, it went in. So yes, what difference does it make?
That
But
sucker almost from a corner spot. He kicks and it curves to the top left corner.
on a non-foul, by the way.
No, and then to back that up, exactly. Dwyer did not hit Rooney. I have heard an argument that if like he was going to, then stop at the last second, they can still call it. But I don't know.
Dangerous
So
play,
then
but
the
I
other
don't know.
question was, well, can you VAR that? And I actually didn't know the answer. I was like, I don't know.
Well,
if you
a
just
goal
give
was
a
scored
free-
off of it, so I think you can.
No,
No,
a
you
goal
can't.
was scored off of the next
play, not that
Not
play.
that
Oh, my God.
So you can't VAR. If it was mistaken identity, like if they had called a different player, you could do it. I didn't.
But here's the thing.
But it was a mistaken call. So can't you?
But here's
apply
the
same
thing.
No mistake. That doesn't work with mistaken.
Whether or not it was a mistaken call, let's put that aside for a second. You cannot blame the refs for 3 wins in your past 29 games.
How about
one?
You can't.
Absolutely
How about
not.
one
And it was a
home
bad
win in the 9 last one for Orlando?
And it was a bad Sane foul that started that whole play and attack.
Well, and the opening goal we just gave them.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a poorly defended.
So
free
you know
kick.
what, the Wayne Rooney
poorly defended.
Right. They should have scored that, and it should have been 1-1 draw. But it was kind of awesome to watch Wayne Rooney ridiculously score with that curve of a whatever cross pass. I don't care what it was.
It was gorgeous.
It was awesome. Yeah.
But I'm. This is a thing in the MLS that I think sometimes it's warranted, other times it's not. The ref doesn't get to watch that play over and over and over like we do, slow mode from 20,000 different angles. He's got to make the best call he can at the time.
But the truck can make that call.
But Wayne Rooney didn't go down. That's the other side of it that's weird to me. He went in and pulled his legs back so he hit Wayne Rooney. If Wayne Rooney had gone down, I'd have been like, well, okay.
But in general, if your team, so let's put that call aside for a second. If Orlando played better and gave DC United a match, we wouldn't be bitching about this call.
The frustrating thing is actually we did get good at one spot. Like,
well, the time we always get good when we're down and we have to try to come behind.
Like, and it was a much of the second, as you said, Mueller came in but I
play
that way from the beginning.
I feel like the fan of the MLS that knows very little about the game takes the easy route and blames the refs for calls the refs did or did not make instead of looking to their team for a better performance. And that's not just Orlando City. Look at Atlanta right now. Right. The same thing is happening. The refs are against them all of a sudden. No, your team is just playing like It's not really the refs. Now, yes, the refs do make a bad call. It happens in every sport.
It wasn't that
over the world.
That wasn't that game. That's not what cost that game.
It's Orlando City's bad play that cost us the match.
Hey, well, I don't think we played bad. I don't think we're fully there yet. We don't fully concentrate all the time. And it sounds so basic, but on that early free kick, it should be a very basic defend. You mark your man, you put a body on him, and you get the ball out. You clear it.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened. On the Rooney goal, you don't need to go to ground there to even start that. Sane, just stay on your feet, hold him up. It's okay if he gets you don't need to make a challenge right there. Right. Hold him up and then make the challenge.
He was also
you don't
not
need to go
going
to
anywhere.
ground. Right, exactly. So it's very simple stuff that I do think James O'Connor is trying to get through to them. And I do think it's going... I liked what I've seen so far this year because it does show something different from what we've seen in the past few years. So if it's getting through to him, that is a good thing. We need to stay healthy, though. DeJean was out in this game, and I think he's easily been our best defender.
Yeah.
Johnson was out in this game. He's probably been our best midfielder. Is Jose Coleman, is he hurt? Where is he at? Did he remain on the bench? We haven't seen him a whole lot, but we've seen him. So,
what's his name who pulled his hamstring like game 1?
Oh, that was the referee.
Remember that? Oh, that's true.
Funny.
Yeah.
Oh, the other one.
He
slid in, made a goal, and then was subbed out right after that goal.
Yeah, he was
first
a
game
draft pick, right?
Yeah.
So we'll have another chance to see him here on Saturday night, but we lost to the number 1 team in the East who haven't given up a goal so far this year. We scored an open play on them, so there is signs of life from this, and I don't think it's all doom and gloom.
We won the 6 first games last year, and they turned out terrible.
Right. So let's see what happens, because O'Connor's had his chance to have his hand in this team in terms of who he's brought in, the style he wants to implement, the way he wants to implement it. And I think the most passionate people on this team so far, going back to what we were talking about a little bit ago, is James O'Connor, which is a good thing to have in your manager. Matinho, I thought he played very hard there in that right wing back or left wing back spot. Mendes, who I've been very impressed with so far, he's come in and played that central midfielder role. And then Euler, right there, you kind of have a little bit of a core. So I'm not fully there yet, but I do see signs of life that keep me hopeful for what the rest of the season brings.
He scores when he wants. He scores when he wants. No,
He just needs to stop going to ground all the
no, he
time.
doesn't. He doesn't
Like
score.
I get it. You're trying to get the call, and he plays tough. Dom plays very, very tough. He plays with his heart on his sleeve, but he goes to ground so easily. Like, you don't need to do that all the time. Like, if you're in the box, okay, we can at least get it because you're trying to get a pen. But in the middle of the field, just going down, you're like, Jesus H, get up, man.
Hey, does he score when he wants?
He did once in this game.
So the rest of the game, he didn't want to score those other 4 shots.
That's the problem.
Apparently?
You gotta want it. You gotta want it. That's what the coaches always said in high school. You gotta want it if you want to win.
All right, let's rip through some headlines.
Yeah. Let's try to burn through the rest of this real quick. So, Toronto rout NYCFC 4-0.
Boom.
NYCFC not having great start.
They're like second to last so far.
What a shame. That's nice to see.
Is it United and them the bottom?
Who?
Atlanta is.
Is it Atlanta United
And NYCFC? Yeah, I believe so.
at the bottom? I like I said United. He went, what? Who? What? Who? What?
Yeah.
When? Where?
No, like maybe we're up to fifth now.
Zlatan's penalties, they're enough to get to Galaxy all 3 points. As both penalties were against him, too, and he took the penalties. He wins 3-1.
And did you see his second penalty? The second Panenka of the weekend, where he
I'm pretty
just
sure I heard him, Ivan Drago, like, I will break you.
God
Yeah.
Almighty. He is a mean son of a bitch, but I love him.
His presser afterwards was even better than the goals. That man is great. I like that he doesn't look at the people interviewing him at all.
No, he could care less.
They are not.
He's such a dick, but it's awesome.
And the Fire put the Red Bulls down and hand them their second loss in a row, 2-1. Good job, Fire.
Yeah, because we won that one.
Ashtian, good
the
game.
previous game. We did
Yep.
have a good win.
On the
Against Red
road.
Bulls, yeah.
Right. Can't win at home, but we can win on the road.
And you know something we didn't even say, not to go back too far, but DC United, they are at top right now in the East. They are doing very well.
Yeah.
Should be noted as well. Just
Yes.
we were kind of harping on Orlando only, but DC United playing very good so far this season. Boom. So the Revs get the first win of the season against Minnesota United 2-1.
They kind of respond because who is their manager?
Friedel.
Yeah, Brad Friedel kind of benched some folks and laid into him a little bit. And,
As well he should have.
And he got a response out of this.
Good win for Philadelphia Union because they need some. They beat FC Cincinnati.
In Cincinnati.
Yeah. 2-1. Yeah. Another, speaking of tons of goals scored, these next two matches. Again, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches with 4 or more goals. Just ridiculous. But the Dynamo received a couple of own goals to beat Rapids handily 4-1. I thought that said Tottenham handled. Weird. All those own goals. But they beat the Rapids handily 4-1. FC Dallas start early and finish off 10-man Real Salt Lake 4-2. So the Texas
Red card in the
teams
17th minute.
throwing
17.
down.
That was crazy how early that was.
And the Whitecaps and Sounders
Huh? What?
0-0 nil draw. Yeah.
That was that game.
Yeah, that was
Happened. But you are seeing, I feel like, a lot more teams this year. I don't say going for goal because I think everybody's trying to score goals, but you're starting to see a little bit more goals scored this year because there is a push on how important every single game is based
Agreed.
on the new style
Yeah.
format of the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree completely.
I think that wraps us up, gents. Dude, both these beers were really good.
Good job.
It's good to be back. Hashtag drink local.
Yeah, he's gonna be back. And our next episodes, Ron is all on remote.
Yeah. Calling in from China.
Because you're there for the next 2-ish weeks.
17 million weeks.
So we'll schedule that up. And you've just reminded me that my software to do that is new and upgraded, and I've never used it before. So
We gotta
I
do
will be
that.
getting on goofing around with that while you are gone for the next few days.
I'm going to my first Chinese Super League match.
Oh, that's
Oh,
fun.
yeah, you
that's
picked
cool,
a team,
man.
right?
So we picked a team. It's near where I'm staying. They are playing at the Workers Stadium in Beijing, and they are called Beijing Guao. and they're green, black, and white are their colors.
So we got a whole brand new color scheme of scarves to bring in.
And I'm going to bring a ton of Orlando City stuff with me this time to try and trade some out. So I'll let you know how that all goes. And I'll be seeing my first match on the 13th.
Well, and
How do you spell Guao?
Guouo.
Wow.
Yeah.
And things not going good for, if you remember, I believe last probably talked about the fact that the gentleman from Northern England, Darlington Football Club, they're fighting relegation. It's a cool guy.
Oh, right.
Showed us
Jonathan Vieira. He played.
But he showed us a look at what things look like in the National League North,
right?
Which is way down on the bottom in terms of like where the leagues rank in England. They lost today or this weekend, I should say, and they are desperately fighting a relegation battle. So hopes actually as the season wraps up to kind of get him on the pod at some point to talk a little of what that's like as a supporter in the National League North.
So I butchered that spelling. Guoan. Sorry, Beijing. Guoan.
I'm excited. Yeah, you got to bring a bunch of scarves. We'll do some trades and like.
It's gonna be so fun.
If we were smart, we'd make some Brewtiful Game scarves to take up there before.
Same colors.
Yeah. Well, I think that wraps us up. If you want to follow us, go to our website, thebrewtifulgame.com, and there's where you can find us on Twitter. At Brewtiful Game, you can find us on Untapped. So we can share beers with us. Give us a look on Facebook. Follow us on any of the ways that you listen to podcasts. Whether it's, and if you've got an opportunity on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google, however you listen to us, if you would rate and leave a review, we'd really appreciate it. It helps us spread the word with the show.
Please and thank you.
Yeah, if you would please just take a screen grab of it if you do that and drop us an email or private messages on one of our social media platforms, and we will get some goodies out to you. We still got some magnets and Brewtiful Game koozies left over. And then also just sharing the show with your friends is a great thing that helps us out too, to spread the word of the show so we can get the Brewtiful conversation going with more people. I think that wraps us up. Gents, is that everything?
Yep.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Wait.
Yep.
What? Are we dad joking it?
I mean, we've been doing it for a while. This was your fault, Ron. Didn't you give me this book for Christmas?
Valid argument.
All right, so you guys start. Just someone yell.
Go.
Well,
You went through it like
it was really fast. Okay,
stop.
Okay, let's see. We have a really bad habit of whenever you say stop, it's already where we bid. Okay, hold on a second, because there's 4 jokes per page, just so people understand. When I stop this way, some of them are so bad that they don't even go into the good category of bad. They're just bad. Oh man.
A bad page.
This is yeah. There's oh man. Good Lord. What does a dad use to fix a broken tomato?
I don't know.
Tomato paste.
Good night, everybody.
Wait, I got one more. What did the dad at the Garden Cafe do when he found a lot of coffee residue at the bottom of his mug? It's a long walk down a short pier, this one. He called the groundskeeper.
Jesus.
I was torn between those two.
Oh, my God.
I love hitting the show on those notes. Tomato paste. You're welcome.
Groundskeeper.
Oh, here you go,
What a
Judge.
train wreck this pod is.
Love the beer and cherish the game. The Brewtiful Game.
MLS, fix your app.
Oh, your app sucks so bad.
Holy yes.